Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to the 63rd chapter of eBookery English. eBookery English is an online platform for storytelling and book review and to bring together authors from different parts of the world. Founders of eBookery are Anil Thomas and Faisal Ibrahim. My name is Shamla, and with me is Sulata Francis. Together, we will be hosting the 63rd episode today. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone who have joined us from different parts of the world, India, Germany, Muscat, Dubai. Very warm welcome to one and all. Our agenda today is, first we will have the storytelling and then the introduction of the speakers by Mr. Anil Thomas, book review of Zero EMI, Unlock Your Financial Freedom by Mr. Paraniyappan, and then we have a round for the feedback, insights, reviews from the audience, and then we will close the session after that. So let's begin today's session with the storytelling. Once upon a time, a psychology professor walked around on a stage while teaching stress management principles to an auditorium filled with students. As she raised a glass of water, everyone expected they would be asked the typical question, half glass, the glass is half empty or glass is half full. Instead, with a smile on her face, the professor asked, how heavy is this glass of water I am holding? Students shouted out answers ranging from 18 grams to 50 to 100 grams. She replied, from my perspective, the absolute weight of this glass doesn't matter. It all depends on how long I hold it. If I hold it for a minute or two, it's fairly light. But if I hold it for an hour straight, its weight might make my arm ache a little. If I hold it for a day straight, my arm is likely to cramp up and feel completely numb and paralyzed, forcing me to drop the glass to the floor. In each case, the weight of the glass doesn't change. But the longer I hold it, the heavier it feels to me. As the class shook their heads in agreement, she continued, your stresses and worries in life are very much like this glass of water. Think about them for a while and nothing happens. Think about them a bit longer and you begin to ache a little. Think about them all day long and you will feel completely numb and paralyzed, incapable of doing anything else until you drop them. It is important to let go of your stresses and worries. No matter what happens during the day, as early in the evening as you can, put all your burdens down. Don't carry them through the night and the next day with you. If you still feel the weight of yesterday's stresses, it's a strong sign that it's time to put the glass down. We are in the COVID times, going through a lot of stresses, lot of worries, lot of anxieties. Let us drop all the stresses that we are going through in the evening and look forward to a fresh day tomorrow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We now move on to the next one. Would like to invite Mr. Anil Thomas to introduce the speaker of the day.
Thank you, Shamla. Welcome back to eBookery October edition. We are back with one speaker today. Are you happy with the way you are handling your finances? Research says that 90% of the people work for bills, and that's for sure, and not for anything else. People stick to their job only to pay their bills. Are you one among them and want to get rid of your EMI concept? Are you looking for ways to uh, uh, gain your financial freedom? Do you want to be organized and manage your finance better? I would have been a millionaire by now if I had met a person like Palanipan maybe when I was in 20 and meet author Palaniappan is the author of the book Zero EMI Unlock Your Financial Freedom. He's a keynote speaker with over 15 years of industry experience as a banker and an IT program manager. He's currently working as an IT manager. He passionately speaks about various personal finance topics. He has evolved as a powerful speaker. I understand he is the founding member of PSAI, that is the Professional Speakers Association of India. Palaniappan was awarded as a Distinguished Toastmaster DTM and was one of the founding members. Yes, of course, I have mentioned that. Academically, he holds an MBA degree in international business. And Mr. Palaniappan Arama, so welcome on to eBookery platform. Thank you for coming, sir. Are you on mute? Please unmute.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much, Sanil, for having me here. Good evening and good afternoon. I joined a little early, so I had a wonderful opportunity to get to know a little about the audience here. And you're all doing wonderful jobs, and you're all from varied backgrounds, is what I understood. Let me ask you a question. How many of you love what you're currently doing? How many of you love what you do now? Or how many of you love your job?
Definitely. I love what I'm doing.
Okay.
Me too. I love to what I'm doing.
Okay. Fantastic. 100% of the people here says, yes, I do love the job. If there are someone who's not loving the job, I usually tell them, hey, if you don't love your job, then please take a loan. Then you'll start loving your job.
Passionate about my job.
Sorry, doctor.
I said I'm passionate about whatever I'm doing.
Absolutely. I could sense that. This audience is of absolutely passionate people, and you're all carrying some work that you are really passionate about. So fantastic to be here. Even before start talking about the book Zero EMI, I would like to call out a few disclaimers. The purpose of my book review is not to ask you or push you to buy my book, first and foremost. And that is not the intention. Finance is a very important life skill, however, not being taught in schools. I understand we have a headmaster or principal in the audience, and we do not teach financial skills in schools in most of the countries, at least in the country which I am living in, India, we don't teach that in schools. I want more people to get an awareness about at least some of the financial concepts and not to look at Zero EMI just as a book, but as a way of living itself. So I accepted to speak as soon as I got an invite from Mr. ANIL. Also, this is a very different experience to me. Having reviewed others' books, over reviewing my own book is a very different experience. I need to talk good things about my book and all of that, and I really cannot wear the critic lens and talk about it. But definitely, I'll not sound so salesy, but I'll definitely highlight some of the good things from the book. This is the book that I'm talking about. Maybe because of the virtual background, you may have some difficulty in seeing. I saw in one of the videos, Sneha ma'am was showing her deserving book very beautifully without a virtual background. I happened to see it in YouTube video, but I think you got a glimpse of the book. The book title is Zero EMI Unlock Your Financial Freedom. This was published last year during the lockdown, and it has 108 pages and should be a very quick read. The book foreword was written by Dr. Soma Valliyappan, a very well-known name in Tamil Nadu, southern part of India. He's a financial expert. He has written close to 60 books so far. One of his books, titled a Tamil book, Alla Alla Panam, was sold more than 1 lakh copies. His foreword on my book cover, he actually wrote a foreword which I kept it in the book cover, that reads as a useful book to help one become debt-free and attain financial freedom. This is what he felt after reading my book. Having said that, coming back to my very first question, do you love your job or do you love what you're doing? The reason why I asked you all this question is because, as Anil pointed out at the beginning, Mr. Anil pointed out at the beginning, research says that 90% of the people work for EMI, not for anything else. If some of the questions that Mr. Anil raised is also in your mind, and you're looking for answers, then Zero EMI book has answers to all of these questions, and it will definitely help you to control your finances instead of being controlled by them. I attempted to explain the concepts in a very simple English in this book, so that it's very easy to understand by whomever who are reading. I know we have an expert in Nick teaching about business English, but I am attempting to cater to all those who can understand very simple English with my personal stories and stories of my friends. The book offers practical personal finance tips for salaried people, for entrepreneurs, for passionate people like you in the age group of starting from 22 to 50. Mr. Anil mentioned that if I would have met me, if he would have met me in the age of 20, then it would be really useful. I strongly recommend this book for the beginners. That doesn't mean that people in 40 and 50 could not read. I actually covered this for the people in the age group of 22 to 50 years. That is my target audience. And the book will help you to learn how to reduce your loans and how to avoid taking loans and lead a stress-free life financially. Finance may be a very Greek and Latin word for many people. However, if understood and if given a close attention, it can be you can master that finance. You might be thinking why there is one more book on personal finance. There is plenty of books out in the market. Yes, I agree. There are hundreds of books teaching you how to attain financial freedom, talking about multiplying money, retiring early, building a retirement corpus, becoming rich, and whatnot. All existing hacks becomes useless when your wallet has a hole. You earn hard with the hope to save, invest, and become wealthy. But even before you could save, your monthly bills and EMIs are to be paid off, isn't it? Imagine what you save after paying all your bills. Financial freedom is about living comfortably. This is my definition of financial freedom. There are plenty of definitions out there, but my definition of financial freedom is about having choices and living comfortably. But what choices can one make when the person is living under a debt mountain and saving is completely out of sight? Savings, by the way, is not an expense, it's an investment. It may sound easy, but when implemented, it's definitely very easy to achieve as well. So where is the money to save when your income is not even enough to pay your bills off and you are short of money all the time? You only earn to cater to your EMIs, not to attain your financial goals. By the way, if I missed to give you an abbreviation, what EMI stands for, EMI stands for equated monthly installments. Is a very popular term used in India. And across other countries, you can take it as a very recurring monthly payments like your bills, your mortgage loans, etc. That is what I mean by EMI. And what I said is, you only can cater to yearn to cater to your EMIs, but not to attain your financial goals. The debts that you are surrounded with, and you will not be able to reach the goals quicker, right? Forget about reaching them faster. The majority of the time, many people do not even reach the goals at all because of the debts they have. I know many of my friends who have retired from their job with a very after a very successful career, but after a dissatisfying financial career. In career-wise, they would have reached great heights, climbed up the ladder, but when it comes to finance, people are not so satisfied when they actually retire and put down the baton. So debts or EMIs are the leakages that stops one from attaining their financial goals and attaining financial freedom as well. Let me share you a quick story. Shamla ma'am also shared a story, and we have a storyteller who does a lot of workshops around the world in Nick. Let me try to tell you a story about my childhood friend Ajay. I hope you all will like it. He works for a shipping agency, and he always grumbles about his job, right? Not like any of you. His daily routine is somewhat he must go to the harbor, work on the freight inward, later outward. Almost be at the harbor the entire day from the morning till evening, then must return to the office in the evening for preparing reports. Toward the end of the month, he also have additional work as his usual routine. He must prepare these monthly statements and reconcile the monthly transactions and all of that. It's like a routine job. And Ajay hates it. He always says, man, what job is this? I don't know what I am doing. It is not even relevant to what I studied. This is not something that I wanted to. I feel like leaving this job, blah, 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 blah. With all these complaints, you know what? He still goes to the job. And do you know why? Commitment. It's not the commitment toward his job, but the commitment towards the loans, commitment towards the debt that he has. Many are like my friend Ajay, try to EMIs, loans, mortgages, and do not have control of money. In fact, it's the money that controls most of the time. People are stuck because of their financial commitments. At the same time, quite naturally, they are longing for financial freedom. How is it even possible to reach place A by driving towards place B? It's not logical, isn't it? Dreams are good, I agree, but really essential to have a plan to achieve your dreams. Clearing debts and abstaining from them is the very first step to attain financial freedom. Else, all the efforts to attain financial freedom is not going to work. Once a person stops leakages, that is when hacks in the way to get richer will start working. You must have zero EMI to reach your financial goals and start living your dream life. The book gives a blueprint for a zero EMI life. And this book will help you to understand how you can control your finances instead of being controlled by them. You will learn to stop the leakages, your debts, EMIs, and take next steps towards financial freedom. This book was written out of my own life experiences and personal stories about how I came out of debt and attained my financial goals. People might think, why do I cry so much about debts? What a big deal. It's okay. If I want to buy a car, let me buy a car with by taking a loan. If I want to buy a house, let me go and take a mortgage loan because I don't have all the money that is required to buy a huge house upfront, in hand. So what a big deal. Why should I not go and take a loan? Why people are wondering why I'm crying much about debts. Let me tell you one more story. I had a very terrible childhood that I wanted to forget. I was in 8th grade. We were living in a very nice apartment wherein I had many friends. We played together and had lots of fun. I was a cricket team captain then. The properties of the team like bat, ball, stumps, everything would be under my control in my home, under my custody. No one could touch them without my permission, right? If they touched, I would fight, I would shout, I would scream, I would do whatever I could to ensure that they do not get touched again. I felt like a king until my father quitted my job. His job. My father left his job and started a printing business. He did not have the business acumen, due to which he faced a lot of hardships to develop the business. The income from the business was only enough to pay the rent, salary, electricity, and other operational expenses. To run the family and the business, my father started taking loans. Within a year, my family ended up in a huge financial crisis. Debts piled up. Taking one loan to repay another loan or closing one loan and starting a new loan became a routine. We had unsolicited visitors every day to our home, asking for the dues. Everything around me started changing. My school, my books, my friends, my house, everything. One thing that remained constant was debt. An old proverb says, better go to bed hungry than wake up in debt. Unfortunately, I experienced both. We moved to a new house as we could not afford the rent of the current one. I did not get any friends around my new house. I got into a new school where I did not like going as I was still attached to my old school. What had hurt me the most was giving back the cricket team's properties like the ball, bat, and all of that to my friends. I wept and cried as if the whole world was gone. No one was able to console me. The king in me was broken. The entire family spent sleepless nights. I grew up. After graduating from college, I took up multiple employments. 10 years later, we were able to pay off our debts. What a relief it was. No more visitors asking for money. No more phone calls asking for dues. A breeze. I enjoyed thoroughly. After being debt-free, I started feeling like a king again. However, I have already spent the prime time of my life tackling debt. Those 10 years was a tough time. I was always occupied with the thoughts about the loans to be repaid. Moreover, it was about coming out of debt as soon as possible. I never had a chance to think about my future, my career plan, my goals, nothing. The only financial goal I had was to clear off my debts. Would I even call it as a financial goal? I don't know. But that is the only thing I had in my mind. I was just working to repay my debts. I earned more money to hand it over to someone else. I paid my bills. It's true that humans long for what they do not have. I have always longed for a debt-free life. Since then, I have been practicing debt-free life, and I'm also advocating the same to others. I think it makes sense for me to do so. I do not want my fellow human beings to make a bad decision and end up in loans. I also do not want them to suffer and stress over repaying their loans. I do not want them to spend the prime time of your career and life working to repay loans. I do not want people to get into a debt trap and give the children a pathetic childhood and their family a miserable life. Imagine these adverse situations. Your child needs an extra notebook and you're not able to buy it. Your wife is badly in need of a new stove as she was struggling with a troublesome one for the years together and you're not able to buy it. You need an extra set of dress for an office wear, but you don't have the money to buy it. It's too stress when you have a compelling expense and you do not have money to meet it. It only leads you to larger stress, and for bigger expenses, the only choice is to take a loan. If you have walked the path that is full of debts, you will understand why I'm crying so much about debt. And I can tell you the path of debt is very horrible. I do not want anyone to take that route, undergo the sufferings, and then start from scratch. I want people to enjoy financial freedom, possess the ability to make choices at their will, and live a stress-free life financially. One day, my daughter bought a circular home. I'm a salaried professional. The circular read that the football coaching classes at the school would commence from the next month. At the time, we were also looking for a good football coaching center to enroll our daughter, as she loved to play football. There was none in our neighborhood. The hunt was on. The circular came in the right time. What could be a better place than her own school to join for football coaching? However, the catch was to pay the fee immediately, which was INR 4,000 rupees. It was the 28th of the month and 3 more days to get the salary. And most of the salary people do not have the luxury of spending in thousands during the month end for items like this. This is not a necessity. This is nice to have, kind of. There are only 2 choices. Borrow money from others or use a credit card, or let the kid forego the coaching class. In my case, I do not have any EMIs to pay. I enjoy financial freedom to make my own choices comfortably. So I immediately paid the money without waiting for the next paycheck and enrolled my kid for the football coaching class. Needless to say, my daughter was so happy, and that happiness as a child was priceless. I'm so happy in turn that I was able to give that happiness to her. Many people say to attain financial freedom, you must have lots of wealth, right? In my view, to attain financial freedom, you must first get rid of your debts. As when there is a hole, how much of you bore, it is going to leak. You might never be able to fill back again. You must first stop the leakage. Debt, loans, mortgage, EMI, whatever terminology you have, that is a leakage. You must cover that up first to grow wealth and attain financial freedom. Let me pause here and I'll tell you, whatever I shared thus far is actually from my book, Zero EMI. And let me also quickly share the content of this book. It has close to 11 chapters. If you can actually look at it, it may be very small to look at it. There are 11 chapters. I'll quickly read those chapters for you. First one is introduction. The second one is why do I cry about debts? I just read it from there. Third one, debt is dangerous. Fourth one is good debt versus bad debt. Fifth chapter is about debt trap. Then most popular loans, how to reduce loans, how to avoid loans, money management, financial planning. The last chapter is about questions in your mind. I try to compile all the question and answers that I experienced during my speech sessions. I gave a lot of speeches in public forums. So I compiled the questions that people asked and also the answers. And I've captured them in the book so that it is useful for a wider forum as well. Zero EMI book was published by Notion Press, a self-publishing house. My intention is to create awareness about leading a debt-free life. A recent report from State Bank of India Fiscal Department says that in the last 4 years, from 2018 to 2021, the household debt has jumped from 30% to 37%, a sharp 7% increase. I think the trend is almost the same across the countries, with COVID also playing its part last year. And zero EMI book sales and the review in Amazon indicates that people are longing to get rid of their debts. 900 books have been sold so far in the last 13 months since it was published. 102 unsolicited reviews in Amazon. You can go and find it out. I also do get unbelievable messages in my Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and in my Gmail IDs. I'm so glad that I wrote this book. This is a very fulfilling experience for me. Whatever I have spent publishing this book, I'm not going to get this back. But I'm not looking at it that way, right? Publishing a book is not actually to earn money. I have other sources of income. However, it's a very fulfilling experience for me. I'm so glad that I wrote this book, through which I spent money and wrote this book, through which I'm making a positive impact to people. Having said that, before handing over to the host, I'd like to thank Mr. Anil once again for inviting me to speak. I also like to thank each one of you for listening to me. I hope I made some sense. This is not poetry, but definitely, it may not sound like a music to your ears, but still, I hope, finance is a very essential skill. By the way, I love poetry as well. And good luck to all of you. Over to you, Anil or Shyamala ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very insightful. I do agree. It may not sound like music to ears, but then money is the driving factor that keeps us all going. And from our forefathers' days, we have realized that from the as they say, need is the basis of invention. Currency itself, starting from barter system to cowrie, conch shells, to gold being traded, then comes the currency. So over the time, our predecessors have realized a need for money. And that is how even now currency has taken shape. And now we have smarter ways of e-commerce, credit card. And yes, credit card is indeed a debt trap. Very soon you will realize you have fallen into it. And out of the many chapters you have read out, financial planning and money management, those two go hand in hand. Wonderful, a very thoughtful lesson for us to carry home tonight. I would like to call on the audience here to give the honest and truthful feedback. May I start with Nick? Over to you, Nick. Would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you very much for the very interesting insights into especially the world of debt. I think you're quite right. There are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of books on the market teaching us all to be rich and how best to make a quick buck. But I really liked your angle, especially that to be comfortable is maybe more important in life than being rich. And the tools to get there is shedding the debt. And I think it's an extremely good angle to look at it. And it gives people who are in trouble some tools to actually do that in what you say is a very clearly structured book in simple language. So thank you very much for sharing your experiences to help people out of the debt burden, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Nick. Anybody else who would like to come forward? May I call on Sneha? Sneha, are you there?
Yeah, I am there, but I would not like to say anything just now. Sorry.
No worries. Anybody else? Say Professor Mamta. Professor Mamta.
Hello everyone.
Chitra ma'am wants to.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone. Hi. Good evening to all of you. Just I'm thinking that is the money is everything in our life? If it is possible, please answer me. Is the money everything in our life? This is my question.
This is a question to be taken by Sir Palaniappan. May I direct that to you, please?
Sure, sure. Now, wonderful question, ma'am. Money is definitely not everything, but money is a source for us to live. Definitely, when you see around us, I know people who are actually struggling without money. When they do not have money, they panic. And the news articles and the television articles also often highlight some of the suicides happening because they don't have money to repay debts. It's very, very saddening to hear such news. Money is definitely not everything. I definitely agree that, but it is definitely a must-to-have source for our survival.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. Thank you so much, sir. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mamta. Kamil, over to you, Kamil.
Hi, I just want to say thank you for that great insight on your book. There were a couple things that stand out to me, and I'll be very quickly. The one is savings is not an expense, it's an investment. And I think that we need to teach, even growing up, I had this unhealthy relationship with money. You didn't have enough money to save. And so you act like it was an expense rather than an investment for your future or for your, emergency fund or whatever. And I was fortunate to have someone in my life who early on was like my daughter's father. We cannot date until you're completely out of debt. And I can't tell you what a burden that lifted off of me. And then being able to invest and then save for my kids' future. And when Professor was asking if money is everything, it's not. But I tell you, riches is more than just currency. Riches is health. Riches is happiness. Riches is, family. It's the lack of stress and worry. And I'm not saying that money it takes away all your worries, but it really does have a physical effect on you when you're in a lot of debt, worrying about what you're going to pay, robbing Peter to pay Paul, as we say. And so when you don't have that stress, it frees up a lot of positivity in your life, and there's a physical effect that comes along with not having to run from those phone calls like you were talking about, or hiding when somebody comes knocking on your door. So I just want to say that was super good. And then that whole thing, everything began changing, but one thing remained constant, and that was the debt. And I know that was a lot of when I was growing up, and I remember experiencing that. And then as an adult, as a result of what I saw, I had a very unhealthy relationship with money. I was afraid to have it. I was afraid not to have it. And I was stuck in this middle. But when I was able to become debt free, and look at savings as an investment and look and invest in myself as an investment, my life completely changed. So thank you for that perspective. I thought that it was wonderful. And I love this last thing. First, you got to stop the leakage. That was great for me. So thank you so much for that.
Kamil, thank you so much. Truly well said. Money may not be everything, but when you don't have any liabilities, no drain on your finances, and when you can spare that extra to have a little bit of fun, that happy hormones, that kind of releases serotonin and dopamine, what they say, and that really gives happiness to us. So money may not be everything, but indirectly, it does help us to stay happy. So yeah, thank you so much for pointing that out. Anybody else? May I call on Ritusmita?
Sulata, I think Dr. Sujitra wanted to speak.
Chitra ma'am raise hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening. once again to all of you. I would just divide the quick opinion of mine into two sections. First, I'll deal with the question which we just have analyzed. I will be very honest. Money is important in my life, I would say. Without, in fact, if I did not have the priority of having money, I would be now in a different state. Maybe I would to walk towards, I won't say saint, but yeah, walk towards meditation. Or maybe I would have looked for some other peace, but I want to wear good clothes. I want to look good. I want to be presentable. And I want to show my students, my teachers, because I'm a leader, that dress code matters, your look matters, your happiness matters. And be very frank, of course, we can't run after money because there's no end to running after it. But money is important in life, as Kanwal said. It is definitely important. To talk about now the book, beautifully written. That's really wonderful. The passion that you have, sir, not being actually, you've expressed that this is not your profession, yet the way you've enjoyed writing it, that is the passion. And that is what we need to understand, that if we all have passion, if you all have dreams, and then proceed towards it, I think automatically perfection comes in. Devotion, perfection comes in, and therefore we are creative in our own way. That's it that I wanted to say, and loved listening to the book review. That was great. Thank you so much once again. It's a wonderful feeling to be part of such discussion. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Dr. Suchitra, very meaningful indeed. Thank you so much. Anil, may I now call on Nitusmita?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Nitusmita, would you like to
yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I was not enough good for the situation to open my camera.
No worries.
So already everybody has spoken about the review, and actually I do agree with all of them. And the story sir has told us, I could relate to it very much. And what I have understood, sometimes we need depth also to get rid of some mental depth also. Say, when you gave the fees for coaching center for your girl, I think you somehow were trying to get rid of that mental debt. And then in that case, sometimes that monetary debt also becomes positive. And the thing you say that we have to be debt free. I think when we are debt free, the mental debt, then we get our mind works works hard, gets energy to work hard to get the physical free from the physical debt, that is monetary debt. And it's a good review, and very simply, very vividly you have raised the issues of monetary debt. I'm sure that this book will really help people to understand their problems and solve their monetary issues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Nitusmita. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward? Sindhu?
I think Rakesh is a new to platform. I think maybe you can call Rakesh. Rakesh Vasnik, are you there? Do you want to speak a few words on the book review?
Rakesh Vasnik?
Okay, I think yeah, maybe.
We have Nikat Bintroy.
Yeah.
Are you there, Nikat? Author Shweta?
Right.
Author Shweta?
Shwetaji, do you want to speak a few words?
Hey, hi, this is Nikat. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
Nikat,
great.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So I joined in very late. That's really, my bad. And I just got to the tail end, and I think it was a very interesting review. And I did listen to some of the comments that people had, and I wish I had participated in the entire session. So I really don't have an opinion at this point because I don't have enough. I didn't hear enough. But yes, I think it is a very valuable topic, very relevant topic, and the comments of the people, I could dispute so many of them, or I could agree with a lot of them. And so I just leave it at that.
Thank you, Nikat. Very honest indeed. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sindhu, Sapna, would you like to come over with your views? Sindhu? Yes, Sindhu, over to you.
As such, the book review, of course, was very well presented, and he was actually very, very confident to say about his book. That is okay. But money matters, and the management of money is something out of my cognitive level. Because even in my at home also, even in my school also, I leave the matters to my administrator and of course the accountant. So I am not in a position to comment upon that part of the book actually, and about EMI. Here it is at school it is ESI or PF or something. So that calculations, everything, because maybe I am a student of literature and the numbers, everything, even the small amount of money calculation is out of that level for me. That is all, Sulata.
Thank you, Sindhu. I believe lot many ladies are on the same platform like you, because money is indeed trouble sometimes. So we try to stay away from the trouble as much as is possible. That is kind of man area. Let them handle the trouble.
If I can add, if I can take 30 seconds and add quickly. Finance is a scary word for many women out there in the world. I agree. I often tell this to my wife as well. But trust me, if you guys take finance in hands, then you are the best administrators. You can do wonders. You can really do well when compared to men, is what my humble opinion is. So please give it a try.
Definitely.
Yes, every time I try. I sit with the accountant and then look at all the numbers, everything, all the registers, everything. But the next day it is all gone. That is.
Don't worry, we'll introduce more of a business finance books now on.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to
do. Before we close, Sulata, can I say something?
Please, Sapna.
Yeah. I would like to tag along with what Palniappan has just said. That, as women, without learning engineering, without learning being a plumber, without learning anything that is being a doctor, we do all this at home without anybody telling us. Okay, and me being the person, I also, like Sindhu said, I studied literature from class 10 onwards. I stopped maths because I still count. I'm 55 years old. I still count 1, 2, 3, 4 like this in my hand because I hate maths and I don't like maths. But as Palniappan said, we do this out of necessity. We do so many countings, we do so many measuring, we do so many things which we don't even understand. But being the all traders with wings, we are at home and we do maths without learning maths at home. Thank you so much, Palniappan. That speaking was really very resourceful, and thank you so much from all of us.
Sapna, great. You are very right. You're very right. We are the kind of, we are like jack of all trades. We do everything and we master it too, honestly. Household finance, business finance. Now everything is at fingertips, despite having not professional max.
Sorry for that. We have another 3 to 4 minutes. Maybe we can actually take Dr. Rajamani sir as well.
Dr. Rajamani, yes. The next person to call is for Dr. Rajamani. Kindly contribute your views, sir.
First of all, I'd like to thank and congratulate Mr. Anil Thomas for this wonderful book review. And I'm always interested to come here, but because we are doing the Tamil book review, the time is a little bit clashing. But even then, I really wanted to be here. And today's talk is very good and interesting, even though I missed in the beginning part. Mr. Palniappan did a wonderful job. And I am asking so many, I want to ask so many questions, but because the time constraints, I want to ask only one or two. Did you publish this book in Tamil? Number one question. And if you publish, please come for our Tamil book review. Number two. And then number three questions is for all of you. When I conduct we wanted to conduct the training for the finance for non-finance managers. Nobody wanted to come. Nobody wanted to attend. Even though I invited a very big specialist like Paraniyappan, nobody wanted to attend. All my non-finance managers, nobody wanted to come and even attend the training. At the same time, we changed the topic. We don't want to use the word finance. We just told them how to cost optimizations in your budget. Then a lot of people came and we used the same resource person like Paraniyappan. So what do you think about here? That is my another question. My last question is because you are all speaking about a lot of things about the money. And my last question is Porullarki Bulagam Illai. Thiruvalluvar already told. You can explain to them the particular questions and particular verse, and then you can just tell all of us what is your view on that. And that's all. Thank you.
I don't know how many of you understand Tamil, but பொருளில்லார்க்கு இவ்வுலகம் இல்லை, அருளில்லார்க்கு அவ்வுலகம் இல்லை. Yeah, right. That's very, very good point, sir. Thank you so much. To your first question in Tamil, I actually written it. I have a handwritten copy, but I have to put it in the computer. I'm very poor in Tamil typing. Actually, I write so well. I have a handwritten manuscript ready. My publisher is also asking me to do it in Tamil. One of the leading Vikatan publishers from Chennai. I'm actually in talks with them, but I have to put it in the computer and give them a soft copy. That is what it's taking much time. I'm already doing a 9-to-5 job. Though we call it as 9-to-5, I work almost around the clock during the weekdays. So it's taking a while, but soon the Tamil version will be out.
You can do the speech to text. Nowadays, we are writing like that. You can just read it and it will come in the text also. Then you can do the small texts.
You're right, sir. You're right. I tried that, but the accuracy level was not so good.
Yeah.
It actually, made me to do a lot of the work.
Just to update you, Dr. Rajamani is a producer for Doordarshan. Doordarshan is a national television.
Okay.
He's a producer. He's an entrepreneur. He's based in Malaysia.
Okay. Glad to meet you, sir.
Right. Okay, maybe Sunada, you being an entrepreneur, maybe we would like to hear from you as well.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed because I vouch for the fact that money is the driver. If you have money, everything works. If you don't have, and if you cannot feed the many mouths dependent on you, you don't sleep peacefully at all. So it is very important that we plan, forecast, and manage finance in the truest sense of it. Very, very important. And to be liability free is really like, it's a big boon, a big blessing to be liability free. So all that he has spoken from his younger days, his painful experiences, which helped him to condition himself into a better finance professional, really, it was thoroughly enjoyable, truly enjoyed it a lot. And it really makes sense. So I believe we have covered everyone. Anybody else?
Shamla also.
Oh, Shyamala, yes, of course. Shyamala, where is she?
Yeah. Please go ahead. We have still 3 more minutes. Yeah.
Shyamala, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've come from the finance background. Though I have done finance, my current job is not in the finance. I have gone into training and others, and on the training side and the business development side. But yes, definitely it does give us a lot of memories. Even when we were a child, we used to count, okay, is it possible to buy this? Is it possible to buy that? Okay, we'll move this to the next month. And all those things we came rushing into our mind when you were telling the story about your childhood and how you managed to pay the fees for your daughter's football. And of course, all the chapters that you have got in the book, all of them really, it is really worth going through all of them and understanding how we can become debtless, really. Thank you very much for giving us a good book review and giving us an opportunity to coming on the stage. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Shyamala. So I think that should be it. Anil, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I must say thank you, sir, for coming on to eBookery platform. And it was a great book review session. Definitely, we're going to introduce more of a business books from now on. So we're so much used to other kind of books. So this is a new, as we are now getting into 2022, so we'll have more of a business of books. And this is so important, actually, business planning and then the money management is so important for each and every one of us because a lot of people are losing jobs and they are into debt. So we can't afford to leave the people in dark. So this is why we have decided, so okay, we'll introduce more of a business books from now on. Thank you so much, and over to you, Shyamala. So maybe you can actually conclude the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, one and all, for coming and attending this session today. We will now conclude the 63rd session of eBookery English, and we hope to see you again next month with a new book review and with a new author. Thank you very much. Have a good evening and good night to some of you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
See you soon.
Good night,
Bye.
ma'am.
Thank you so much.